Welcome back to this Only Kids Football podcast, where we laugh and cry in equal measure over the realities of coaching in grassroots football. We're looking back on a game where we finally started to pull the trigger, and we'll get into our favourite topic, the tricky dynamic of being both parent and coach, and how quickly it could go from football to full-blown father-son fallout. And is advertising for a defender really pigeonholing young players, or just a practical way to balance a team? Plus loads of your listener questions this week, from trials and team selection to inclusion, pressure, and whether we're just overcomplicating the whole thing. I'm joined by my co-host and assistant manager, Mike Clark. Mikey Clark, what are you saying?
Oh, good, mate. How are you?
I'm good. We haven't got that energy and vibe from having played a game because
We've been called off.
Again, same team.
Same team.
If I speak, I'm in big trouble.
It's very annoying, though. What I've actually loved was in training yesterday, every single parent was like, what do we do? What do we do with our Sundays? It was good, probably the first year. It was mainly just me and you and a few other parents just like raging about games being called off, and everyone else was like, buzzing, got our Sundays back. And now I think because it's been quite a good season, I'd say, in many ways, everyone's depressed. That's good.
And I think there's only 3 games left. So there's only
4 games.
No, 3 games.
3 games left.
3 games left.
Yeah,
3 games left. Then we've got the tournament. So we've got Concord, then we've got Leyton Orient, and then we need to book in some other ones. But otherwise, that's it.
3 games.
Yeah, from May.
Jeez.
I mean, obviously we're book friendlies, but from May to September, that's it.
Oh, God. This is going to be a depressing pod, isn't it?
Other than the presentation night, which I am very excited for. Our presentation night, not the boys. But
podcast of the year goes to...
So the podcast co-host of the year, Mike Clark. But even though it's all over for the summer, come the end of April, we, as lucky owners of VO cameras, can look back on our games.
We absolutely will.
And here comes an advert.
God, we're getting good at this, aren't we?
What a transition, by the way. How did I pull those 2 entities together? But we want you to have a VO. So before we get stuck into the episode, we're going to talk to you about some amazing offers we have so that you can get your hands on a VO this summer and be ready for the new season. So the first offer we have with VO is for the VO Go. This turns 3 iPhones into an AI panoramic camera system for match recording. And you can save 50% on your VO Go with the code IOKF-VO-GO. That's IOKF-VO-GO. And offer 2 is for the VO Cam 3, the big, bad, beautiful camera. It's a 4K HDR camera. I have no idea what that means, but it does automatically track, record, and live stream matches. And you could save £200 on this bad boy with the code IOKF-VO-CAM3. That's IOKF-VO-CAM3. I will be looking back on... So I was actually thinking about this genuinely for the presentation, like putting some bits together for the boys. And some of the goals we've scored, it's just... I love looking back on that stuff. And I bet you... Well, maybe you're not as sad as me, but sometimes like... I'll look back on just Alf's clips or whatever, like during the week, if I'm on the train or whatever, getting my own self-esteem from a 9-year-old's bit of school.
Go skipping into work because your son's done a good bit of skill.
As we've said many times, it's like, there's some 25-year-old, like, and you're like, do you see this? And they're like...
couldn't give a shit.
Look at that. Shall I do it again?
You're going to pull off a team meeting, get everyone gathered around. You just got it on the big screen.
Yes, I've got a presentation today. It's worse. It's like as if you're looking at porn and then up comes the VO.
Yeah. Quickly get it off the screen.
Watching kids football again. Yep. Anyway, okay. So you can see all of our highlights that we're talking about on our YouTube channel. So go over to YouTube, subscribe now. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers, and you can help get us there at IOK Football. That's our YouTube channel. Go over there, subscribe, like and comment and share this video. Help us reach 1,000. Now,
also on Spotify.
Oh yes,
like and subscribe.
Yeah,
put the little bell icon. I'm so bad with this. I don't think I've ever done that. So I forgive you for not doing it, but please do it because it does really help.
Yes, turn on notifications and then you don't miss the next video or episode, either on Spotify or YouTube. Now, training, we entered into like another phase. We were going to talk about focusing on shooting because we felt that the boys were waiting for that perfect opportunity to shoot. We wanted them to do or take more Frank Lampard style shots, which is like shoot through bodies. Don't wait for the perfect opportunity. The session we did, so we've been doing it 2 weeks now. We do training in 3-week blocks now, which was the advice of Jimmy Galustian, the Curva coach, and he said it takes about that long for kind of an idea to cement in the players' minds. First drill was Fox in the box finishing. Look that up we'll put the link in the description show notes. So you can have sort of however many players you like really run. You kind of create a perimeter, kind of like you could put it around like the box of the goal. Yeah. 7, so 3 on that side, 3 on that, 1 here, 1 central server, playing to a kid. We say 3 touches or 3 seconds, you've got to get your shot off. And then obviously they tally up their score, right foot, left foot, and then you create it so that it's opposed. So now the attacker's got to use movement, like dummy run, moving off the ball, first touch away from pressure, have a shot. I really liked it. I love this drill.
It's one of those drills where, as a kid, you would be really excited to play this one because it's just shooting. Everyone wants to shoot, and it's the first one is unopposed. It's got a bit of a competition. Maybe we just accidentally turned it into a competition. Like, how many goals can you get? Can you beat that next week? Can you beat another kid in the team with how many goals you get? And then you realise that they do need some help on their shooting. Obviously, we've got some killers in the team that score lots of goals, but there's quite a few that can hit the ball, but they're just so not used to shooting. So I think it's a really, really good drill. It's a lot of fun. I know that obviously we'll go into the 3rd week of doing it, but even from the 2nd week, all the boys were buzzing to do that one again. So they clearly like it. And it's really easy to set up as well, which you can't get it wrong.
No, we were the coaching bits that we were trying to get across is like, one, if just shoot on your weaker foot.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want to see you trying to get the ball onto your stronger foot. And then can you take that first touch so that you receive it so you can get the shot off quicker? What I quite liked was a few of them would receive the ball from a different angle, take a touch and have a shot, but then run into the box to receive like another ball and hit it first time, which I really liked. And also, like when you hear top elite strikers, they talk about knowing where the goal is. So not having to look, they're trying to hit the target. And when you're trying to hit the ball at speed, I've heard like Jermaine Defoe, Ian Wright, I've heard these kind of strikers talk about it. You know where the goalposts are, take a touch, hit the target, and it kind of felt that's what the boys were doing. Sure. And in that first training session, after that, we had a match against the Blues, and I thought that it was so good, like the level of both teams.
Yeah,
really enjoyed watching that. Like, almost kind of wish we'd recorded that.
Yeah,
because the technical ability of both teams was brilliant, and that was a really fun match to watch.
Also, just with that training drill it's a shooting drill, but obviously there's a goalkeeper in the goal. So I think for Albie, probably the best coaching points were for the goalkeeper because he's brilliant shot stopper. We've spoken about him a lot, but actually being brave enough to sprint off your line and close down that gap is something that he's maybe a little bit more inconsistent with. But he was, so a few of the boys would come over and they'd get really close and, it's impossible to save it. But then when you started coaching him to come out more, be brave, close down the gap, and Dan, his dad, was doing the same. When he started to do that, he could realise actually they've gone from scoring 5 out of 8 to 2 out of 8 because he's just closed down that gap. So it helps the entire team, that drill.
Yeah, I mean, I pulled him out of goal and was like, look at your dad when he stays on the line. Look how much goal you have to aim at. Now watch your dad if he takes 5 steps forward. Now you can see less of the goal. That's what you need to do. But there was a moment in there where it was shown that it's not just us that have a problem with our sons.
Yeah.
It's just if you're coaching your son. So Albie was coming out and sort of turning away. So he's coming side on. His dad says it to him. He absolutely did it. We saw him do it.
Yeah.
And Albie says, no, I didn't. And then I walked over. I was like, yes, you did. And he didn't answer me back. Like he answered his dad back because you just don't want to listen to your dad. Like what Dan said, Dan didn't say it in a bad way. It wasn't like overly critical. It was completely fair what he said, and he said it in a nice way. And Albie's like, no, I didn't. And you're like, that's how sons answer their dads.
Do we do a guest coach appearance?
Yeah.
Like once a month, we get one of the dads to just come in and be the third coach or just help out. and just see how their son reacts. That might be something we could
get on the pitch and see how you deal with it.
Yeah, not even for them, just to see. It's fucking difficult and understand why. Because they must, I always think, I haven't asked them this, but I always think when they look over and we're just losing our minds at our kids, are they like, oh, I wouldn't do that with mine? Or they haven't done anything wrong. Why are they losing the plot with them? Until you're in that position and it's your child that's answering back.
Oh, what I'd more love to see is Wolfie and the Duchess.
Oh, Jesus.
Could you imagine? It'd be no rules.
No.
They'd walk over there. First of all, they'd be talking. There'd be no training session going on. And then they'd be like, oh, stop that. Oh, do you know what? Should we just go, do you know what? Play, do what you want. Like, I would get rage watching them two go. I'm like, why? What are you doing?
Estelle would be like, don't hit it too hard. That's out of order. Oh, I feel bad for him.
But this is the beginnings of one of we're getting to it. I feel like things have been going really well with Alf, and I feel like listeners will be noticing that I haven't had sort of any episodes of him. But
yeah, no, the content's been shit, hasn't it?
no. It's like Arsenal fan TV. It's only good when we're shit. This was one moment, and it was a complete misunderstanding. I don't know if you remember the other week, we were doing the drill, and he was doing the shooting drill, and one of the kids, they kicked the ball on while he was doing it. And body language and like, I don't know what I said, but I was like angry. Yeah. And he thought I was angry at him for doing the drill wrong. And he got really upset. And I was like, no, and we actually recovered from it really quickly and he ended up doing well in the drill. But he got really upset because he thought I was criticizing him. And actually, I was really annoyed at one of the other kids who couldn't keep the ball still. And while he's trying to do the drill, they kick the ball on and mess up the pass that he's receiving. But that was kind of just like a simmering moment that led to, later issues at yesterday's training session. So we did the session again, which was great. And then we finally got the wave going, correct?
We did. So that would have been 2 weeks ago we attempted it.
Yeah.
And it went wrong.
Yeah. When I told you I was going to do it again, though, you weren't keen. You're like, what your reply was like, it was something like this. I can't remember. But you
like, are you sure?
Yeah. But I'd kind of
do that.
I learned from my mistake.
Yeah.
I watched the drill. I prepared. I knew what it was fully in my mind. I was completely like locked in on that one. Yeah. And it was really good. So to try and explain it is, you have two teams. We had 3 at one end, 3 at the other. Both goals have a goalkeeper in it. You start off, one player comes out on a post shot, then the player from the other end, now it's 1v1. And then the player that was defending is joined by a player from his end, now we're 2v1, and then so on and so on. It goes 2v2, 3v2, 3v3, etc.
Yeah.
It was really good.
It was really good. Yeah. What I liked, super high energy. Everyone's got a ball, so when they're lined up, the 3 on each side have a ball, so they're ready to go, so they're locked in, which means they're concentrating and not... So a lot of our drills fall apart when there's a line and they've got to wait 30 seconds to a minute for their go, because that's when they start kicking each other's balls away and just messing around. So they've got to be locked in because it's super fast. Gets the goalkeepers involved. Like I said, high energy because you're up and down the pitch constantly. And if you do lose your concentration, the whole thing collapses, and it just didn't because it was such high tempo.
Yeah.
And I think that video, which we would have had playing whilst we're chatting, because we're so good at this, is that just explained it so much clearly, and it also explained why we got it wrong. Before,
because we were not having, we weren't creating an overload.
Yeah.
And then we weren't having them kind of like, so the ball went dead.
Yeah.
And then the player that was off the pitch restarted the game.
Yeah.
That was the key, rather than like resetting both players. That was where all the confusion went.
It was like, if you're attacking and then the defender tackles you, we were like, well, yeah, you can go on and score, but then are you a defender or are you an attacker? And just the whole thing broke down. But yeah, it was really easy, and I think we'll do that one again, won't we?
And then we played a 4v4 possession game. We had like goals on, so 4 goals sort of in a cross shape, if you like.
In a square,
like for goals like that. There's the official diagram of where the goals were.
4 goals in a square. Yep. Okay, we'll move on.
No wonder the bloody wave game went wrong last night. That was just quite fun. Like, what I quite like about putting the goals in that position is that you've almost got like a 360 opportunity to score. You had to complete 5 passes to score.
It's a good game. Comes
Yeah.
with a lot of frustrations. Mainly, I don't know if that was just for our team, but well, should we go on to the frustrations?
Yeah, I mean, this was where, again, I'll get into it when we get to like looking back at the game, but Alf for me is playing really well right now,
Mhm.
like full of confidence. His like ability on the ball is fantastic. I feel like I've not mastered the games, but for so long, like I don't even remember the last time we had an incident during a game. Hence, not talking about it on here. I've basically just learned to not say anything because that's what works with him. But in training, we were talking on the way in the car here, like there's that level of intensity because when you're on the sideline, you're almost just letting them play, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're just like, you played a game, I'll shout out some instruction, but it's on you now. But in training, you're leading it, you've prepared, you've made all your effort beforehand. All you're asking for is effort and your attention.
Yeah.
And that level of intensity, you can be this far away from them. Whereas on the pitch, they could be on the other side.
Yeah.
And they're just doing stuff that irritates you. And do you know what? I'll let you talk about Raf first, and then I'll get into Alf. But what was Raf doing is mainly in the 4v4 possession game, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he was doing some good, like some really, really good stuff. And then it's the classic, it's the same story with both of them. It's they have to do this instant like shimmy or, two-step to try and beat someone. Sometimes there's literally no one around them, but they'll still just do it. It's crazy. And I think it's like muscle memory. They get the ball, it's like their first touch, then they have to do this like shimmy thing. And then, but by that point, the pass that was on, which was a simple pass in a drill where you have to get 5 passes to score a goal, that's gone now. And then they get tackled and we're like, why didn't you just make that simple pass? And they were like, oh, I didn't see it, or there wasn't anyone on. Where was everyone? I'm like, yes, by the time you've done your little shimmy thing, the pass is gone. But if you just controlled it for the first touch control, there's a simple pass. There's literally someone 2 yards in front of you. So that was getting frustrating. And it could just be a one-off. But the last few weeks, I think it's been quite good with me and him in that I can give him my frustrations around stuff like that, and he won't necessarily accept it like the other boys do when they're like, yes, no problem, I'll try and better that, because he is your kid. He's not going to react like that, which we'll come on to, but at least he's just getting on with it, because so many times I would have a go at him for something like that, and then that would be it. He'd be moody, he'd either fly into tackles or start getting more lippy with me, something like that, where it's been quite good at the moment, touch wood.
Quick break. Before we dive back into the episode, we want to take a moment to help you level up your coaching game with the help of Football DNA, the ultimate coaching platform that's been a game changer for us. What do we love about it? It's super easy to use, saves us loads of time, and best of all, it doesn't just show you how to set up a practice, it teaches you how to coach it properly. And that's the key. The sessions are put together by top level coaches. We're talking first team staff at clubs like Celtic, Crystal Palace, and West Ham. Proper pedigree. You get videos, diagrams, full explanations, downloadable PDFs, and if you need it, a full 36-week training plan tailored to the age group you are coaching. Our lads have loved the sessions. It's made our lives easier, improved our coaching, and taught us loads. Now we genuinely look forward to training and developing our players. Check it out at footballdna.co.uk. That's footballdna.co.uk, or you can download the app. Just search Football DNA. Trust us now and you'll thank us later. It was very similar with Alf in the sense that what was quite fun is we got on the pitch early, we were having that kickabout, weren't we, shooting, and that was fun.
That was great.
Somebody scored some absolute zingers.
Yeah, when you say we got onto the pitch to play a bit, the kids were also doing something. I've got no idea what they were doing.
You, me and Danny just took over. And then Alf, by the way, we were having shots, and now we were talking about this. Alf can be quite tentative about shooting, especially in front of other boys that, like a Fred or a Dexter, who can absolutely wallop the ball because he kind of feels a little bit intimidated and insecure because ball striking is something that he's had to work on. And from the top, we need his ball striking has improved immeasurably. I mean, the amount of shots he's been having in games, which we've put on some of the video highlights, like he's now shooting consistently and striking the ball well. So his ball striking is improved immensely, which I'm super proud of. But then, like, sometimes when we're doing the shooting drill, I took him over to goals for a little kick around in the week. It was Ollie, Albie, and Fred and Alf. No, not a proper training session, but you know, they were doing shooting then, and I was watching him sort of get lazy and sloppy and rather than just letting him have fun, I couldn't help but like step in. And what I learned from that was what he didn't like was me doing it in front of other people, and because I'm not doing it nicely either. Like I'm pretty irritated or frustrated and saying to him, like, we've gone over this, you've got better at it. Why are you falling back into old habits? Doing it in front of his mates, that's wrong. He's meant to be having fun. I've ruined it. Like I definitely did that wrong there. So this time when we're having this little kickabout before training, he goes over to get a ball. I went, look, mate, you just need to, you're collapsing and you're not striking through. So you need to stay upright. Don't drop down and strike through the ball. Follow all the way through. And he just started like muttering stuff under his, and no one was around. And he started muttering stuff under his breath. Now I'm gone, like a full head loss. Like,
oh God.
and because
What do you reckon he was saying?
it may be just like imitating what I said. It's like, oh, don't trip over the ball. Oh, stay upright. Like it would have been something like that,
Yeah.
or like it would have been like, oh, yeah, I was. And, well, you fucking weren't because it looked like because you chipped the ball.
Triggered him again.
Yeah. And I think what made me angry was like I've tried to. He's obviously getting like PTSD, but I'm angry about the fact that I've tried to be nice and you're gonna come at me like this.
Yeah.
So now that's it, which is always the case with me. Like now I've lost my head, so now I'm just angry, and then everything you do from that moment onwards is just gonna piss me off. And we were talking about this again. You've said it in a previous episode. It's the little microaggressions, the little roll of the eyes, the body language, the little words back. So we're off to a bad start there, and then. The wave game was fine. The shooting drill he was fine in. Like we had no issues there. I know he got frustrated in the shooting drill because he didn't do well in that. But I didn't say anything to him. And then in the 4v4, he refused openly. Like he's just will not play the simple pass. And I think now it's because he feels like he's not playing well. So now he's got to overcompensate. Now I've got to impress and do well. And he wants to impress me because he always, the first thing he'd come over is like, do you think I played well?
Right. Yeah.
So now he's trying to like almost overcompensate and like do something really impressive to overshadow the fact that there were some like poorer moments in the drills before. So he won't make the simple pass, doing the little bit of unnecessary skill. In kick-ins, he's like trying to hit like Beckham diags. Yeah. Impossible passes rather than just playing it like we play at speed. Get your 5 passes, you score, then you can score. So a few times I'm like, why won't you just play it simple? And it's when they go, I tried, and you're like, you literally didn't. Yeah. Like I am watching you. He is standing there. How have you tried to play it simple?
Yeah.
And then a few times he kind of let the ball run across him. But now because I'm agitated, now I'm like actually getting critical rather than. And he let the ball run across him a few times. And I'm like, why are you letting the ball run across you? Now, so he's all emotional, worked up, with both in a bad sort of headspace. Then one kid, he makes a mistake and this kid starts mouthing stuff to him and he's winding him up and he's saying things to him. And I can see it's happening and I'm walking over because now they're sniping at each other and I'm walking over to go and like sort that out. And I would have like pulled him apart and said, look, I'm not having this. But then Alfie kicks him off the ball. The game's dead. We're going back. We're getting a drink. The session's finished. And he kicked him. And now...
That's red rag to a ball there.
Now I'm like, I've total head loss now. Like I'm already wound up, but now I've fully gone.
Yeah. And
I'm like, I'm on him like this, like right close to him, like, what are you doing? And also because the other thing is, I don't know what it is, like, you're thinking, oh my God, like, what are the other parents thinking? Like, he's just kicked some kid off the ball.
Yeah.
So now I'm raging. And I just can't let it go. And then, that was it. And a few of parents kind of commented on it. Not as in, like, what happened. And then I also, like, in the car. And by the way, this first time, like, in a long time. Everyone knows how I confess my sins on here. I let him have it in the car. I was fuming. Yeah. And he was crying. And I was like, said to him, I'm not apologizing. Like, you kicked a kid off the ball. I know he's winding you up. I would have sorted it out. And why can't I just give you a coaching point and you just accept it? Why do you have to answer me back?
Yeah.
So
I think it's the couple of things is the one is they just have to have an answer when it's your kid because the other kids don't. But when they just have to have an answer, it's just so frustrating. And we talked a lot about this because obviously we chat all the time. It's not just on the football pitch. It's at home. It's, you know, the way that they talk to their mum. It's the way they talk to their siblings. It's like they're at that age now where they're just pushing boundaries and they have to almost be right all the time. And sometimes you've just kicked someone. That should be, hold my hands up, I'm getting told off, I'm going to go and say sorry. But I'm sure he was like saying stuff back or like, but this and but that, and he said this and they did that. You know, like it's just not acceptable. And I would say, because I do remember one thing, it wasn't like kicking off the ball, but it was like pulling a shirt or like a little tussle with another kid in our team who's not our boy. This was months ago. And we did let him have it, not to the same level. So there is levels of comfortability where you can really let your son have it. But we would, you know, kicking off the ball and all of that type of stuff. That is like, we've got zero tolerance for that. It's not gonna fly with any kid. So I wouldn't feel too bad for. Obviously, you don't, because you don't think you agreed with what your approach was, which I would have been the same. But anything like that with any other kid, that would have been squashed as well. And I think we would have really told anyone off if they did something like that.
I think what I have to understand though is like, I've been a prick the whole time I've been doing this. So just because I've had like 5 or 6 like good weeks, just to suddenly switch into, oh, I'm American coach.
Yeah. God, American coach needs to come back. Well, around the World Cup, American coach will be back.
But just because I've suddenly switched into like, you know, being reasonable, he still has in his mind like he's just recalling all the times that I've and he's heightened. He wants to impress his dad. He's like over emotional. The thing is, it's impossible to have that reason and logic in your head.
No.
When they look at you and they're like, I am, or they do so, you're like, I don't sit there and go, yes, I understand, you know, all these years you've had, but you're like, I'm not having that. Like, you're not going to speak to me like that. So, and I've been so critical and hard on him for so long. I have to expect, like, I have to accept that he is going to react emotionally because he's literally mirroring my behavior.
It's the classic though, don't you think? So we've spoken again about this before, where I know if I spoke to Raf calmly, his reaction will be calmly. And it's like when I can tell him off, but in a calm way, and it'd be way more accepting than if I fly off the handles and shout at him, then things are going to go south very quickly. And you just can't help but do it. And it's like, at the moment, we've been talking a lot, we've been like reminiscing about when they first started out, and then we've been forward thinking about it's only going to be a few years, then they're in secondary school, then the whole thing's going to be way more different, and then we're going to blink and it's going to be gone. And we could be having those like nice chats just before training, and then 30 seconds into training, they might do something that annoys us and we'll just go mental.
I know this. I felt gutted about it because I felt like we'd have been on a good run.
Yeah.
And I feel we are on a good run, but training is where that level of intensity switches because we're really close to him. And, you know, the other thing that I did mention that he annoyed me during the training session was I was trying to explain body position in terms of defending, all the free prees, pressure, positioning, patience when you come out and you put pressure on a player. And all of them are like this.
Yeah.
You're just like, sorry, is this boring you? Oh, I'm sorry. What did you do last night? Was you playing on Fortnite? But you know what I was doing? Preparing this fucking training session for you. And then they're just like gawping, looking around, not paying attention. And all you want is like just a moment of like respect where you just listen to me. And he is looking at the floor, like doing some like shimmy with the ball. And you're like, hello, I'm giving you a coaching point.
Yeah.
And then he says, I was listening. And you're like, but you wasn't. Like, you were looking over there. So it was all these things. Anyway, I think I've got a good strategy for the game. I need to find some strategies for training because I just get, I don't know, I haven't quite mastered that being in that sort of close quarters with him and accepting that, you know, he might not be behaving to the standards that I am setting. I think that you made a good point at the end of training where you're like, because we sort of had a brief discussion about the moment where he wasn't listening. And you're like, are you sure it was, you said something like, are you sure it was just him? Are you sure the others weren't doing it? Or you said something like that. And I'm like, shut up, Mike. I didn't come over for you to point out something logical. I wanted you to say, yeah, he's a little prick. That's what I wanted you to say.
Because we're so self-reflective. At that time, I was fine with Raf. This is the God's honest truth is at that minute, I was fine with Raf. So I was in a calm state and you'd like got angry with Alf for something. So then we were on like two different levels of the angerometer.
Yeah.
You know, I'm right at the bottom. I'm in the blue zone. You're in the red zone. So I can give you a blue zone answer. But most of the time we're teaching on that into the red. So the red zone answers are just like, yeah, fuck them. They're both, they're wankers. All of them. I hate them all.
It's so true though, because I know that all the other kids are just like, they're gawping, not paying attention. Like, well, maybe Dexter's like, Dexter's have a notepad going,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Let's do this, sir.
You get that drill, everyone? I know the drill already, Ben. I looked it up. And all the others are just like messing about and or like just not paying attention. And the thing is like, it's one of those moments again where you judge them on what you expect from an adult, but they're 9 years old. They literally, their brains are not wired to pay attention.
Yeah.
But it is impossible to have that moment of clarity when they're doing it to you.
Yeah.
And you're just like annoyed.
Who was it as well that was saying, we had a guest on, weren't we, where we're talking about you clip up in your head, you're clipping up all of the good stuff that they've done.
That was the last week's episode. Mark,
yeah. Where you clip up all of the good stuff that they've done over the years and you just paint this picture of this perfect child and perfect football specimen.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, why aren't you doing that again?
Why can't you just do that consistently without like any mistakes?
Yeah.
Quick one for the coaches and volunteers listening. If you're sorting kits for a grassroots team, you'll know the pain. It's never as simple as it should be. That's exactly why Discount Football Kits exists. They supply quality football kits at prices that actually work for grassroots clubs. No nonsense, no hard sell, just reliable teamwear that turns up on time and looks the part on match day. From full team kits to training wear for growing squads, everything's built to make your life easier. If you're tired of overpaying or overthinking kits, head to discountfootballkits.com and get your team sorted today. Where there were loads of positives and where we hope some of the training objectives that we put in and subjects that we worked on, was it in our most recent game that we played? Comfortable win over Ashington. Again, I don't like to go too much into the scoreline and sort of revel in that. We did win, but they were missing their best player, and he is a top player. Like Cohen, I think he's at Southend. Yeah, he's one of the best players in the league. He's exceptional. When he's missing, that's going to put them on the back foot. But I still think going forward, they look pretty dangerous. Yeah. Obviously, they scored 2 goals. We won 9-2, but they look good. They were good going forward.
Yeah. And yeah, we did score a lot of goals, but it was like when we've been battered in the past and we scored some fantastic goals. You know, the 7-1 against Concord. Yeah. We scored a brilliant goal and then we just let in loads of goals that were just, scrappy finishes. Yeah. And I said to you, didn't I? Yes, we did score some amazing goals and we'll get into that, but we did score quite a few scrappy goals, which I think the training that we've done that week really did help, because it was just like, get your shot off. If you can get your shot off, there might be a rebound, it might just fall to you. But if you don't shoot, you'll literally never score. You won't get these half chances. And it was no surprise that we did score.
But we were saying that in the team talk as well. We're like, and sometimes they were shooting when they should have been shooting. But you have to accept that.
Yeah.
But we were saying, have a shot, get your shot off, see what happens.
They were a class act though, that team. The coaches were really nice. All the parents were really complimentary apparently. There were, there was no animosities at all. When games could go that way, it can either just be like super quiet, everyone's a little bit awkward, or it could go, aggressive or, just not a nice atmosphere. But apparently it was absolutely fine. And I think it also did help that, like you said, they played really well. The scoreline didn't necessarily reflect it, their performances, because they've got some fantastic kids. Their keeper was ridiculously good.
Yeah.
To concede all those goals, but pretty much I'm sure he was their man of the match. He saved some unbelievable shots.
We did play well.
Yeah.
We often, when we have those sort of score lines, we try not to I don't know, be too positive about what we've done, because it kind of feels like you're giving it the big one or whatever. But we definitely played well.
We turned it on,
the boys did play well. Dexter was an absolute monster in that game.
Yeah.
I watched back, when I watched the game back, I was like, Jesus Christ, he was everywhere. Yeah. That was proper Stevie G style performance, driving with the ball. Just a casual hat-trick for Freddie Lambourne.
Yeah.
No biggie. Logan, again, got 2. He's doing really well at the moment. His improvement has been, and it's been reflected in the amount of goals he scored. And I love that. There's a really nice goal where like Fred brings it down. We play some great football, sort of lose possession, comes down. Fred brings it down, does like a little Iniesta past someone, does outside of the boot pass to Logan, who zings it top binzels.
Yeah.
And Parker got one. Nice to see Parker get on like back to scoring.
That was Alfie assist, wasn't it? Yeah, in the middle. It was a great first touch, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then a left foot. And I want to talk about Alf and Raf because Dexter could say he deserved that of the match.
Yeah.
He got a hat-trick and he was unreal. But Alf and Raf were right up there. Do you want to talk about that? Was now winter has left.
Yeah, that's what it is, isn't it? Yeah, such a good point. The Night King, or whatever he's called, has left. He's taken his dry robe off and fucked off, and now the kids are back.
And Raf, this was the Raf.
It was.
This was Raf back to his best. This was, for weeks we've been saying to him, we want you to stay on the ball. Stop getting rid of it. We don't mind if you lose it. Do what you're good at. Some of his passes were fantastic. He was beating players. This was a return to confidence. 2 silky nutmegs in that game. Yeah. He was brilliant.
He's claiming 4 nutmegs. Because we went through and we watched the game back and he's like, here's a meg. I was like, I don't think it was, but all right, okay, I don't want to burst your bubble there. But yeah, he was really, really good. And you talk about watching highlights on the train. That was a game I was rewatching a lot and watching his clips back because he was just mega confident. Every time he got the ball at the back, it was the timing of either his pass or his timing to like go past the player or try something new. I loved every minute of it because that was a brilliant performance. And now it's all about consistency now. It's like, how can you just do that when we're losing? How can you have the confidence to do that against a team that is going to be pressing you a lot faster potentially? That's where we need to build up that confidence for him. But also I clipped out quite a few bits for him around the defensive side because this was, yes, he's in defense, but it was more, how can you start the attack by having patience on the ball, finding the right pass, dribbling up with the ball. But it was the defensive shape, which is what we've only been focusing on pretty much, me and him. And there was quite a few occasions where he was really tight to the defender the whole time. And in previous weeks, months, years, he's just nowhere near him. And then that one ball that goes down the middle, that simple pass down the middle, kills us every time, doesn't it? Because he's out of position. But there was quite a few occasions where, because he was tight to their striker, he just nipped in front and then we're off. Or there was a few times where you could see that he'd sensed the danger and he'd sprint as fast as he could instead of like that jog that they tend to do and say, well, I did try. You didn't because you jogged. But he was like sprinting as fast as he could, made a little slide tackle. So I thought he was really, really good.
Yeah.
I was really proud of him.
I loved seeing him back to, it was so funny when, I think it was it was one of the clips we put on the highlights on YouTube where he gets a ball, beats one, nutmegs another, and then he plays it through to Parker. I think he gets tackled. And because one of the bits of skill was a nutmeg. And then he was looking over at you going,
yeah, I remember that.
He kept looking over there. He's like, oh yeah, not saying anything now, are you?
Yeah.
And then Alf again. I thought Alf was, like I say, I genuinely think he's playing really well at the moment. And in that game again, like skill on the ball, trying stuff, got an assist. And what I've noticed about Alf, he often plays the pass before the assist.
Yeah.
And I say to him, what I was trying to explain to him was like, kids understand football as goals, like dribbling past loads of players and scoring goals and being fast or big, or you think of football in that sense. But I was like, adults and coaches and parents who understand football, they see what you do. Now, your highlights reel might not be, it's the same for Raf. Your highlights reel might not be goals, mad dribbles and like scorching someone with amazing pace. But what you do before, the people that score the goals, they don't get to that point unless you do what you do.
Yeah.
And tidy bits of skill, maintaining possession, making it's so, because I think his decision making is so good in a game. That's why I get annoyed at him in training, because I'm like, why don't you just do, like, why do you feel the need to do this in training? But yeah, lovely left-footed pass assist. I think that's on the highlights that he does to Parker, who's a great first touch and finish. I just thought, I just love watching him play like that and like having fun on the ball, expressing himself. Do you know another thing I did from Mark Howard in that last week's episode? He talks about he was saying I get my son to watch strikers before.
Yes.
So I put Ronaldinho on
you
all
sent
that
in the group, didn't you?
Yeah. And I was just letting him watch Ronaldinho videos, and I don't know if it worked. He might have just done it anyway, but I was like,
I thought the exact same.
Why don't you go out there and do that? I was like, just do it. Like, it doesn't matter. Just express yourself. Have fun. Why are we here unless we're having fun?
Yeah, I thought Alfie was brilliant as well. To be fair, they were all really, really, really good. And now I was really, because we gave the man of the match to Raf, didn't we? And I say I felt awkward doing that, and I let you and I think you and Danny and a few others decide because it definitely could have been Dex, could have been Alf, could have been Freddie who scored a hat-trick. Albie's saves were phenomenal as well. I mean, there were so many kids on the pitch that were brilliant. Parker was great. You know, the rest of the boys.
I mean, there's loads of clips from Ollie. There's loads of clips from Ollie. I clipped out loads from Ollie. He's playing unreal at the moment. And then you just forget there's the lone wolf at the back, Harry, who just sort of stays in position, does what we ask him to do. But there's one man, the Renaissance, he's back.
Yep.
Albino.
Albino.
Is that right? He's the opposite of Albino. He's got ginger hair. He made
the Brazilian goalkeeper, Albino.
He made a ridiculous save, and this will be on the highlights that we put out in a few weeks. It was unbelievable, and he was absolutely Jose Bazingma after that one. He made, it wasn't just that, right? It wasn't just a save. He did loads of coming off his line, keepers.
Yeah. Handling the ball,
loads of other saves. Just like all round, like night and day compared to like other weeks where he's just made saves, but like lost his confidence in other areas. And that save was unreal. I mean, everyone was like, what a save.
The whole sequence was amazing though, because their attacking play, they counter-attack, passed it across goal. This kid, first touch, and then a wallop, and it was going top bins.
It would have been an unbelievable goal.
It was such a good strike, and I have no idea how he saved it. We were right behind it, weren't we? It was
I just saw like his hands like pop up. He tipped it onto the bar.
Yeah. The thing with Alba as well, I was trying to work out what's changed. So, like some is fully changed. Yes, we've been giving him a bit more focus in training, but his dad's back training him.
It's true.
It just must make a difference with his confidence. I think maybe it's because prior to games and in training, you just know with Alp if he's on it or he's not. 'Cause sometimes he can be really quiet. He doesn't want to dive around. He's complaining about injuries or something's not quite right in his head. And you just haven't seen that. And you definitely didn't see it before the game. And maybe it's because Dan's there with him. He's got a bit more comfort with his dad being there. Or I don't know what it is, but it's whatever it is working.
What was funny is kind of at half time, I think we were 6-2 up or something like, I don't know what it was at half time. Yeah. They're coming off expecting to get a load of praise, and actually, I tore into them for the 2 goals that they conceded because of the weak, lame tackles that we were making.
Raf spoke to me about that in the car.
Did he? What did he say?
I was like, "Oh, such a good game, like brilliant. You were man of the match and well done." And he was like, "Yeah, that's why I was a bit confused about why Ben was having a go at me."
Well,
I don't think he was having a go at you.
I didn't pick him out.
No. You definitely didn't. But it was funny that was his first thing that he said.
I was so angry at the goals because all of them were just like half-hearted tackling.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I did praise him at half-time. I said, on the ball, ridiculous. But I was like, you can't concede goals where someone runs the length of the pitch and none of you's putting a foot in.
But from their perspective, if you watch that goal, you'd be like, what a banger.
It was. And to be fair, when you watch it back, you're like, he was just really, he did really well.
Yeah. But I'm with you. I was like, why is no one tackling? Just put a foot out.
Yeah. Go Cardless makes collecting payments simple with automatic direct debit. Membership fees come in on time every month without watching parents dig through their pockets only to find a crisp packet or race into the cash point while you wait in the rain. There's no more, I'll give it to you next week. You can just drop a link into your WhatsApp group and bingo. Payments are sorted. It handles the admin too, automatically keeping track of who's paid, what's outstanding, and retrying any payments that didn't go through, helping your club keep a steady cash flow for pitch hire, kits, and equipment. You can even pause or adjust payments when families need flexibility, keeping your club supportive and inclusive. Go Cardless takes care of the money so you can focus on running great sessions and growing your club. But Alf, I just really I reiterate, it's just nice. I know we've talked a little bit of the training frustrations, but he's got his belief in himself is making me believe.
Yeah.
And I'm just not worried. Like, I just don't even worry about that in games now. Like, he's absolutely flying. And I'm really, like I say, I'll tell you what I did do, which was after, I can't even remember what it was. It might have been off the Ballers on Friday. Sometimes, like, I think Alf goes into his shell a little bit around our sort of better players who are obviously like mega confident in themselves. And like some of the boys, just like their belief is unbelievable. And I was saying to him, I think it was at night time again, when that's when we have our best chats. And I was like, do you think you're good? And he's like, I'm all right. I was like, mate, you're not all right. Like, you're really good.
Oh,
like,
God, I didn't know where you were going to go there.
yeah, you're not all right. You're shit. Oh, all right, mate. Giving it the big one. Who do you think you are?
All right, am I?
Oh, I'm all right. Oh, who do you think you are, mate? Get out in the garden and start practicing. But kind of what I've noticed of him is, in my mind, like, he's playing really well and he's really full of confidence. And at Ballers, again, he was like absolutely flying. But I think he gets around players, like, I can really relate to it. And I was explaining this to him, right? So in the football team I played for Ongar Town, we were a really good team. We spoke about this, we won all the time. But there was like the top tier players in the team, which was the boys who played at Charlton and Norwich and all. Half the team was in the academy.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I'm in that team. We win all the time. Obviously, I have to be of a certain ability to be in the team. But I'm not in that top tier. I'm not in the tier that is getting the trials, who's at academies and playing for. And that can make you feel like, oh, so I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And they're that level. And although Alf said, like, we had a trial at Spurs, and that when we've played the academies, all the boys have done really well. So he's obviously really good, like millions of times better than I ever was at that age. Not now. But like, I know how he feels, where I don't know if you ever had anything in your life where you're sort of just you're outside that kind of elite level of, where because they're the kids that score the goals, and they're the kids that get all the praise, and they're the kids that everyone talks about, who get all the trophies and awards, and you're sort of outside of that. But you're in it, like, if you like, you're in the bubble, but you're not in the center of it. Do you see
No,
what
I know what you mean, and I've never experienced it because I'm just fucking phenomenal. But I played for a similar vibe, in that we had a really, really good team growing up in Great Wakering, and I was one of the worst in the team. Like, I'd play every game, and it was good, and we were winning loads, and I felt amazing because this team was fantastic. But when you look back, you're like, well, I was definitely one of the weakest. And then that team kind of disappeared because the manager's son went to West Ham, and then he basically folded the team. And then I went to the team below, so it was like the Tigers, and I was one of the best in that team at the beginning. And I was like, this is brilliant. Like, I can express myself, and you just played in a totally different way. Whereas in my old team, it was get the ball, pass to the good kids, get the ball, pass to the good kids. And now it's like, well, I think I'm one of the good kids, so I'm going to do this skill and do that. So I totally get where they're coming from, because we do have some exceptional kids in our league, in our team, that are almost different levels, and they can see them when they play certain teams as well. They're like, wow, that kid is a joke. And it probably does knock their confidence somewhat. And we can relate to it. It's how do you just get them to that point? Like, when in my situation, when I drop down to the other team, how do I instill that belief in our boys in the team that they are in?
But what I was also thinking, obviously those other boys get the confidence from their own ability, but I was like, their dad's been like giving them that confidence and like making them feel like that, and I haven't. So like, part of me was thinking, have I not done a good enough job of making him like believe in himself? And I was saying to him, mate, you're not just all right, mate. You are really good.
Yeah.
And you can see, like, when he dropped down like levels and played different people, like kids, or like, and he's like loads better, and you can see him like, he's like Conor McGregor, like walking like this. And then when he plays in our team, he's not the top boy. Yeah. And that's okay. And what I was saying to him was like, every team has, you can't have a team like of all the same player, because that's not a team.
Yeah.
You find your role within that team, and your role might not be to score the goals and dribble and do all that stuff, but your role in this team is really important because you link play, you link the defensive midfield, you keep the ball, you keep possession, you give the ball to this player, trying to help him understand that. Obviously, that's difficult for a kid. Anyway, wanted to talk about some of the things that I've kind of seen this week. Like to pick things out as become a bit of a regular on the show. You and me were talking about presentation night and who would win awards, and I sent you that Jordan Peterson video, which was interesting. Was basically because we were like, oh, what if there's going to be half the boys that don't get an individual player award? Yeah. How do we feel about that?
Because in previous years,
yeah. No, because
we had 5 aside, so they all got one.
Yeah,
and then it was one previous year at 7.
No. Well, we ended up getting them all an award because there were like 2 of them that didn't have one.
Yeah,
we're like, we can't do that.
Yeah.
But this year there'll be 9, and I think was it like 4 individual awards? Because top goal scorer just goes obviously to the person. Or don't mention top goal scorer. We know people don't like. We know people don't like that award.
Can't believe you just brought up.
We'll get onto that. That's for another episode.
We might have to clip that out.
Yeah.
Otherwise we'll get lynched.
But in this video, Jordan Peterson, I've made some notes here. He talks about the reason like competitive sport is really important. It's not about like making competitive sport about a complete focus on winning, but it's about how kids accept losing and they master like emotional regulation and their respect for excellence, as in I become a good loser, as in that kid's done really well. I respect that. Now, what am I going to do? How am I going to react to not winning that award? What am I going to do better next time? I thought that was, there is part of me that feels like the guilt of seeing that kid on the night being like, oh, so I didn't get an individual award. But at the end of the day, that's life.
It is life. And again, it's not just because the way it was for us is the way it should be, but that is the way it was. There would be 1 or 2 trophies, 2 max. And you're like, okay, well, I know going into it, I'm not going to win, but I'm going to be happy for whoever gets it. And maybe the first couple of years you were a bit annoyed, or I can't remember that far back, but I do remember certainly like top goal scorers. I know I'm not going to get that. I'm buzzing for the person who is going to get it. Maybe I'll go for the manager's player or the player's player, wherever it might be. So there's like a handful of opportunities, and if you don't get it, I don't ever remember thinking, oh, I can't believe this. He shouldn't have got that. I should have got that. It just wasn't really I don't remember ever thinking that was a thing. So I think it's right. And being a good loser is mega important, not just for sport, but just in life. If you don't get the promotion you wanted, if you don't do this in life, if you don't do that in life, you have to get on with things. You can't just wallow in it. You can't just wallow in these things. Like, things are not going to go to plan all the time. You have to learn how to deal with it.
Definitely. And it's about having the right reaction.
Yeah.
Just one other quick one I wanted to point out was, again, like I was talking about, we spoke a lot about on this podcast and our journey of sort of understanding that it isn't about win at all costs. But Tom Farry, who's the executive director of the Aspen Institute's Sports and Society program, I just saw a clip. I had no idea that was his job title where he was, but I saw a clip of some TED talk he did, and he was like, I think it's more aimed at American sports where it's like hardcore, spending loads of money to become an elite athlete. But he was talking about actually just kind of having a generation of healthier, happier adults, so that because they're exercising, they're playing sport. If you have a lot of kids, I think this is from America, they drop out of the sport at 13 due to burnout and injury. And actually getting your kid to play sport is then like a lifetime of exercise and being healthier and being in a team. So I just kind of like that. It's a good way to look at it, right?
Yeah. So, sorry. At 13, they're burning out due to injury.
Well, I think what it is because in America, I think he's talking about a particular sort of section of like where they're trying to get college scholarships.
Yeah.
And they're paying like thousands of dollars a month, and they're training hardcore, and it's like all out. You need to get this into this high school, and you've got to get on this college scholarship, and it's like a different world.
That's crazy.
I don't know if you saw this viral moment of this coach where she was in her face like this.
Yes, I did see that. Did you send that? Or
no,
we've just got the exact same algorithm now, I think.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not.
Here we go. There's another one.
But she's like in her face, like
Yeah.
shouting, like, I believe in you, but you've got to want this moment. And she's like in her grill shouting at her. And then she goes on, the player goes on to like have this, like, she turns the game around and plays really well. And she's described it as putting the life back into her, what the coach did, jolting her interaction, and loves to be coached hard. What did you, I loved it.
Yeah.
I just can't wait to do that to one of our boys. Like, I can't do that now, but I just want to be like, I want to get in their face.
It was a bit American coach. Though.
It was.
I liked it, and there's a way in which you can kind of adapt it because it wasn't aggressive. It was like, it was uplifting, but it was to the point, in
intense.
their face. It was intense. Yeah,
I loved it.
and that's the balance, isn't it? When we're intense, it's probably too aggressive. But there is a way, and that video is quite a good way in showing that you can be intense, but just not in an aggressive or a more aggressive way.
On to Grassroots Hero.
Yes.
And it is a man we know very well.
Yeah, boy.
He doesn't get enough credit. Assistant manager Tom Chilvers of Lee Ramblers Blue Under-9s, who's been nominated by Jesse. Now, Tom has been a constant in Joshua's football journey since under-7s, when he first coached him at Catholic United before he's moved to Ramblers. Over the years, Tom has played a huge role in Joshua's development, not just as a player, but in his confidence, enjoyment, and love for the game. His dedication, consistency, and commitment to the players he coaches are clear to see. Week in, week out, he invests his time and energy to help young players improve, supporting them both on and off the pitch. Alongside Reece, Tom has created a positive and encouraging environment where players can thrive, and his impact goes far beyond the results. I think his biggest job is babysitting Reece, actually.
Yeah, imagine that. Also, it just shows that there is some posh people in Grimsby, as we've said before.
But Tom is the calm
Yeah,
impact.
he's a top guy, isn't he?
And love Tom. He's very calming. He's the calming influence on Reece.
Yeah,
Pretty sure he puts all the training sessions together as well. Pretty sure he does everything.
bails him out of jail.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I've been nicked again, Tom. It's his first phone call. And just a quick one before we get into list of questions is my youngest Charlie has been put into Lee Ramblers Green, and I have put my hand up to help.
Are you putting yourself in a Grassroots hero moment here?
Oh, no, this is
doing?
definitely not a Grassroots hero. Grassroots idiot. Why would you take on a second team? But I said to Ross from Free Lions that I'd get involved. I put my hand up. I put in the WhatsApp group, look, one of you should 100% do this. Amazing experience. Here are the reasons why. I can't do every match because of this, but I'll help you with training. I'll put training on. Quite a few of the dads would step forward. So he'll be entering the sort of 3v3 journey, and yeah, looking forward to getting into that.
What were the other dads like? Any prior coaching experience? So you not got
No,
to
but a lot of enthusiasm.
Okay.
But I haven't really spoke to them face to face.
Yeah.
It was because we kind of didn't know each other prior to that point. But no, looking forward to getting into that. And,
Yeah.
well,
We'll have a regular spot on this for sure.
Exactly. If you're involved in running a grassroots football club, the football part is easy. It's the admin that takes over your evenings, weekends, and sometimes your sanity. We're excited to partner with Love Admin, the super simple club management platform designed to take all that admin stress off your plate. Whether you're managing a youth team, a community club, or a full academy, Love Admin helps you run things smoothly without drowning in spreadsheets, WhatsApp groups, and late night payment chases. Love Admin handles memberships and registrations, automatically collects payments on time without you having to chase anyone, keeps all your messages to players, parents, coaches, and volunteers in one place, helps you organise volunteers, and gives you clear reports so you always know what's happening across your club. If your club's been saying there has to be a better way to run this, there is. It's Love Admin. Right now, let's quickly get through some listener shout-outs and questions. So, Stephen Pollard is a parent and under-8s coach. He's raising concerns about fairness and player experience. His under-10s daughter was left out of games due to squad size and felt she wasn't the coach's favourite, which didn't sit right with him. His questions whether this reflects poor on coaching culture at young ages. He also asked for advice on recruiting for 7v7, specifically how to run trials, whether to adapt sessions to assess players, and if coaches should gather background info from parents' experience, personality, resilience before selecting. So the first part is, it's hard to answer those questions because we don't know the full picture, right?
Yeah.
But I guess, you just want to talk to the coach and get a handle on it, but hard to, without getting a full info background. But much like getting all the experience, personality, and resilience information, where you talk about the background info, it's hard to talk about that. Now, recruiting for 7v7, I don't think you want to worry too much about like, and this, we'll get into this because we've had some issues of recruiting ourselves. I think you're trying to build a shape, a team. There's more formation. It definitely plays more into, well, less than the chaos of 5v5.
Yeah.
But I think you just want to get boys in or girls and just kind of see, because I feel like their positions may change. They may sort of naturally adapt or lean towards another position. Just get them in and just do loads of friendlies, which is what we did, right? Yeah. Loads and loads of friendlies. Try players out in different positions, and get them to training, which we'd let a boy, like, they come along and do multiple training sessions. I mean, that's the only kind of really way to go.
Yeah, when
about
you think of like our two additions this year, Parker and Dexter, we weren't like dead set on what their position was going to be, but we kind of had some ideas based on what their parents have said, what they were doing at their previous clubs, and then in the drills that and the training sessions we put on for their kind of trials. But then even then, you know, just say, yes, right, they're brilliant, we want them in the team. It took 4, 5, 6, 7 games before we're like, oh, that's probably his best position, so predominantly going to play in that spot, but rotate around a bit. It does take some time, and like 7v7, it's starting to get to that world where you're like, okay, I can kind of see what their position is, but it's still 7-a-side. Like when you play 7-a-side, you might prefer to be at the back, but I'm sure you'll rotate when you're just playing like a friendly game of 7-a-side. So yeah, I wouldn't be too set on that, but like I said, kids have preferred positions. They tend to be striker, and you can't have 7 strikers in your team. So start to look for kids that suit your team best. And personality is a big one. You know, you don't, and that's not personality of just the kid. We would certainly be looking at personality of the parents as well, because that is a big part of the team structure, your ethos, your, you know, how close the boys can get together, how close the parents can get together. It's a majorly important thing, especially when you're trying to build a team for a future. You know, you want these kids to stay together for as long as possible. The parents are a big part of that.
We made a few mistakes there. Ross Fletcher is focused on recruitment and player assessment. Wants to know the most effective way to trial players, whether to run standard sessions or design specific practices, and what coaches should prioritise when judging ability, attitude, and fit within the team. So I would say, yes, you do want to create a session where, like, if you've got a player and you want to like play a specific position or role, make sure that you're testing them doing that thing. I would definitely talk about how do they fit in and interact with the other boys. But I think you, again, like we said, you want at least 3 training sessions. Like if you see something in them straight away, give them a few sessions, let them get comfortable, confident, and then go from there. But don't be like, do one session and be like, no, that boy is not good enough, or just think, oh, they're really good, we want to sign them.
Yeah, I think the games. So yeah, the drills are good, but you know, you can coach certain types of skills, right? But in a match, like having a match format at the end of the game, you'll know better from, I don't know, this might be wrong, but I think you'll probably learn more about them in a match situation, in friendlies, than you would in certain training drills, because again, you can coach a lot of that.
You can see their game understanding when you're playing a match. Now, Nadeem Hanif, West Lothian, Scotland, Whitburn FC Ambers. He is the head coach of an advanced 7-a-side team, mixed boys and girls, age 8 to 9. Big fan of the podcast and how it helps grassroots coaches manage the emotional highs and lows. Shout out to Whitburn FC Ambers. And Clarets raises a deeper issue around the lack of ethnic diversity. His son, who is Scottish Pakistani, is the only South Asian player across the 2 squads, and there are very few in their wider league. He's asking why participation is so low among ethnic minorities and what practical steps clubs and coaches can take to improve inclusion and representation. Now, as a white middle-aged man, I think I'm best placed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't think of a better person. I couldn't think of a better person.
Especially in Leon C.
Yeah. Firstly, very difficult question for me to answer, because I don't experience any of that. And we're in a predominantly white area. Like, not out of choice, just want to make that clear before I get cancelled.
It's a good point, but I think this is a question that we will, Nadeem, will definitely jot down when we've got certain guests on that we think can answer this in a better way than us, because I do think it is important when you've got all these kids around a certain area, are they getting into the grassroots game? I think schools can play a big part of that because they'll be playing football at school, and that's, you know, a bigger group. Whereas then it all comes down to essentially communities, parenting. Do you have time to bring your kid into these? Do you know about the opportunities? Could be a potential issue, but I don't think we're necessarily best placed to answer this, but we'll certainly be asking that question.
No, I think you want to understand, like, what is it that stops someone from an ethnic minority in a predominantly white area get involved? Like, that would help us understand where the issue is. Is it cultural? Is it a fear of like how they'll be perceived, a reaction or response to them? I mean, obviously in our team or anyone we know, there wouldn't be an issue. It's just we live in an area where, you know, there's not a huge amount of diversity. But if you go into London, it's a completely different ball game. There's lots of teams with huge amounts of diversity. So I think where you live plays a big part into it. Tom Lackey is in the USA, originally from Guildford, Surrey. He's an ex-Grassroots player, now coaching an under-11s girls travel team in the US. Describes the environment as chaotic and high pressure, especially with upcoming tryouts where he must select 13 players from 30 across 2 sessions. He's struggling with the emotional side of cutting players he's coached all season. He's asking for advice on the most effective drills, what key traits to assess quickly, and how to make fair decisions under time pressure. Sorry, Tom, can't help you there, mate.
That's a tough gig, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cutting all those, what are they, under 11s? Yeah, that's tricky. But again, that's a good question for our next guest. So maybe we save that one for actually people that know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I think the other dynamic is the kind of different setup in the US.
So different, isn't it?
Yeah, because we'd just have multiple teams here, and that would solve the problem.
If you have multiple teams there, it's like another 300 grand.
Now this is the big one. We're going to finish on a bang. And I am fuming, by the way. So we put out an advertisement for a defender. How evil and destructive of us. What disgusting human beings we are. Now, we had lots and lots of messages about this. And it was basically people like... So we did have... Someone who actually got in touch was more talking about... like they kind of want to have that specifically go after players, but they're worried about the social media reaction, especially kind of when they see what happened to us. And the big question, which we had lots of responses for, was like, you shouldn't be looking for specific the positions at this age. You know, you just want footballers. Well, listen, you little virtue signaling melt. Okay, they're coming into under 10. Sorry, you've been playing football 4 years. You just play wherever you like. Just play any position you want. It's absolute insanity. Like, first of all, let's make this clear: the boys in our team rotate and they move position, but obviously, I always say this one. Like, how stupid can you be? You play football. You have a position that is more aligned to your skill set. You like and enjoy playing in that position. When a kid joins, what is the first question you ask them?
What position do they play?
Exactly.
Yeah, or what position do they enjoy?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So the parents want them to play a certain position. The kid enjoys playing a certain position, but heaven forbid that you say we're looking for a defender. We do move them around. We absolutely do. And they might not end up in those positions.
I think the problem we had is that we didn't say we're looking for someone who identifies as a defender. That was our big mistake.
Should we create a little flag for people that want to be them?
How far can we go here? Separate toilet?
Don't use that. You're a defender. Don't use that. That toilet's for defenders, midfielders, strikers. And that bucket over there is for the goalkeeper. It is absolute nonsense. Like, we're not pigeonholing a kid. They just, like Raf was saying, imagine you say to Fred, guess what? You're playing centre back today.
Yeah.
And then we had stupid, idiotic remarks like, hope you find your Van Dijk and Ramos. I'm not, they're under 9s.
Yeah.
I'm not, I just said, I didn't put any like characteristics I wanted. I just put a defender. We want a kid that because we are trying to build a team. A team needs shape and balance. That is part of learning football, right? And okay, so say you got Fred or Dexter and they're happy in their position, and they're really good, and Ollie or whoever, right? And then you go, by the way, we've signed some like academy centre midfield, right winger, striker, whatever. You're doing really well and we love having you in the team, but we've just signed this kid. Like someone put some ridiculous comment about, yeah, what if he scored 80 goals and he's got amazing touch? But sorry, you're not a defender. Yeah, but I'm not trying to, like, it's not a transfer window.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to like build a squad that win. I want to build a team that everyone enjoys playing in their positions and they stay together. That's what it's nonsense. And then someone's like, Reece James was a striker when he started out. Yes, and Reece James was in the Chelsea Academy at 6, you absolute idiot. Yeah, they're developing a Premier League footballer. I just want a kid who plays in a grassroots team.
It's true. You can't help but just revert straight to the Premier League with a lot of this stuff. And we didn't for this one, but we do tend to get like, yeah, well, this is what's wrong with England. Everything comes round to like, this is what's wrong with like England. That's why we'll never win a World Cup.
It's your fault.
It's just crazy how the jump goes from our little grassroots team where we're trying to build a team for the long run here. We're looking for some additional shape. We need someone who likes playing in defence. It's gone from like fucking
you're what's wrong with England. Yeah. What are you talking about? And also defender can mean fullback, centre back, defensive midfielder.
Absolutely. And we've had this all season and we've spoken about it on every episode, in that we know Raf and Alf are not going to be defenders not going to be centre backs when they're older. They're just not built for it. Most likely anyway. It'd be very surprising. But they could be fullbacks. Yeah. Absolutely.
Or they could be defensive midfielders.
Yeah, exactly. So that's fine. And also the whole, like, if a kid that scored 80 goals comes up, you're not going to sign them? Probably not, because they'll get snapped up by an academy and then we won't have them anyway.
Yeah, but also we're not just signing players to win.
Yeah.
We just want to build a team of players that are of the same sort of level.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a transfer window.
Yeah.
We're just trying to build shape to a team, and we're looking 9v9 is coming in a year or so. But the reaction we got, and this guy was like, the social media reaction is what he fears. And I understand that, right? But it's just people trying to score points. And it's so annoying.
Yeah, it is. And social media just feeds into that type of opinion. If you got that opinion, that's fine. But, you can't take an advert, a clip, a sentence, and then just build your whole narrative around it and then give your opinion on that. Like, if you've listened to our episodes, you know that we rotate kids. We're looking for a certain type of personality and player that can fit into our structure. That's it. But we do want someone that plays in defence, that likes playing in defence.
Yeah,
what's wrong with that?
So it's by under 10s. They've been playing football since they were 6. They don't have a position that they prefer playing. Like, exactly. It's nonsense.
Doesn't mean they have to play there every week.
And like, how do you build this narrative from one 90-second clip? Oh, sorry, not even that. It was like
an ad.
Yeah. And why don't you like think, maybe I respect that person's context, environment, situation, like all of like the nuance of their individual situation. That's fine.
Yeah.
Why is it upsetting you? Why do you care?
Why do you care?
Yeah. Like, just like get on with it. Like, I get it. Like, if you put an ad out and you're like, want under 6 defender, comfortable on the ball, can like zing, diags, strong in the tackle.
Must be 6 foot.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, and you see that stuff. Like, obviously you're an idiot. Like, that's stupid because they're so young. But we literally put defender, and we didn't make it about us. We put the team photo like this. We're trying to stress. We just want a team and a kid who wants to play at the back.
Yeah.
And by the way, we did get a lot of support for it as well. Like,
we did.
People like having a go at someone in the comments, and
I think they're probably the listeners of the pod that are defending, because they've heard us talk about it week in, week out. Whereas maybe you're not a follower, but you just come across that ad, or your algorithm's a bit messed up like ours, and you just get served this stuff. I don't know, who knows? But why do they care? I have no idea.
But anyway, come the summer, we might have a new player. We'll see how we get on.
Maybe a defender.
Maybe a defender.
Who knows? Get cancelled because we brought in a defender.
What'd you get cancelled for? Homophobic comments? No, I just wanted a defender in my team.
You bastard. Lock him away. Throw away the key.
Anyway, 3 games left. We edge towards the end. How are you feeling about that?
I feel under pressure to get the speech even better than it is in my head.
Yeah, I agree.
3 games is mad. How do I feel? depressed that there's only 3 games left. Buzzing that we'll have all the summer tournaments and all that to look forward to. Even more buzzing that the World Cup's going to be in this year. Equally buzzing that we're going to have the presentation night. So overall, 3 good things, 1 bad thing.
And more, yeah. Even we got to this point of the season, we're still talking about things that we've got wrong. So it just kind of shows that when you're doing this, you never quite cracked it. We've said it many times, but we're nearly at the end of year 3 and we're still having those sort of same interactions with our son. But that is it for this week. Yet again, we've learned that the parent, coach and son dynamic is like walking a tightrope. You're trying to help, to push, to develop, but sometimes it comes out wrong and creates a problem rather than solving one. Often it can feel like all you do is clash, but it's important to have perspective. The reality is you're going to get frustrated with one another in a highly emotional environment and you're going to fall out. The key is how quickly you reset and what you can learn from it and making sure the relationship always comes first. Because at the end of the day, it's not life and death. It's only kids football. If you enjoyed the podcast, please take 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss future episodes. And if you want to check out our previous episodes, just click here.